Hey everybody, welcome to week 4 of 40 Days of Fearless. We are excited that we are
I think it's week 5.
Shut up, you're right.
It's week 5.
It's week 5. How time
Wow.
flies when we're doing Being Fearless.
Yeah.
Week 5. Today, Madison and I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about the fears and struggles that we've experienced during this challenge. Just because we're leading it doesn't mean it hasn't been hard or scary for us. I think for me, and you know this about me, I love ideas. I love starting new things. I get really excited and I kind of get super excited and then I'm like, oh, this is going to be work and it's hard. And I think for me, thinking through things of like, when am I going to do this challenge, or when am I going to write this email, it's definitely made me feel overwhelmed and kind of fearful. Like, when am I going to have time to do all this? How about you?
Well, for me, I feel like it's been very much about getting it done. So when I get to work in the morning, it's like I look up at my calendar on the wall and I'm like, okay, I need to do that today. And then when I do it, it's like that's the end of my thoughts behind it. And I've noticed that I've been doing that and have kind of asked God about that. Like, how can I better participate in the Lent season, and not necessarily the 40 Days of Fearless, but what else do you have for me in this season of preparation? And I realize it's just that I want to focus more on Jesus, and I want to focus more on, in addition to giving up our fears, I want to focus on being with Him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was actually just reading this post from this blogger, Michael Hyatt, and he talked about a subtle shift in our language that really changes our attitudes and our thoughts. And he said, instead of saying, I have to do something, I have to read my Bible, I have to do this challenge, rephrasing it to, I get to text a friend to invite them to coffee. I get to meditate on the scripture. I get to meet with Jesus and with friends to draw closer to Him. So, and we've talked about how Jesus knows the deal. Like, he knows what we're going through. He knows
the struggle.
Hashtag the struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
So Madison just wanted to share some scripture with you guys today, too, to remind you, like, Jesus knows what you're going through.
So if this time is all about Him, then I thought that we could look at His example. And what came to our minds is when Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness. So I just want to read from Matthew 4, verses 1 through 11. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, He was hungry. The tempter came and said to Him and said, If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. Jesus answered, It is written, Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Then the devil took Him to the holy city and had Him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you are the Son of God, He said, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. Jesus answered him, It is also written, Do not put the Lord your God to the test. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. Jesus said to him, Away from me, Satan, for it is written, Worship the Lord your God and serve Him only. Then the devil left him, and angels came and attended him. So the thing that I notice in this the most is that, okay, Jesus was hungry.
Yeah.
He was human. He felt what it was like to be hungry for 40 days.
Yeah.
And he was probably exhausted. He was probably really struggling with the human side of him. And he also fought Satan. Satan came at him with scripture, and he fought back with scripture.
Right.
And so I just love thinking about how when the Old Testament was written, God knew and delighted in it, because He knew that Jesus would use it and it would get Him through.
Yeah.
So what an example for us.
Yeah. And you may be in this challenge and feeling like, I just want to give up. I just want to check out. Does this even make a difference? I find myself being afraid, like, are my words or my actions or interactions making any sort of a difference? And our encouragement to you is, yeah, they are. And, you may feel like a failure. I know that you've kind of mentioned that as well, Madison.
Yeah, I think that we can feel like failures especially when we put this to-do list of these tasks every day and we feel like we've missed one. But I think what we want more for you all out of this is that you would draw closer to Jesus. So if you felt like you failed in a lot of ways, what we want for you more than anything is that you would spend time with Jesus and meditate on what this time is about in the Lent season. So, it's okay. We want you to spend time with Jesus and grow closer to him. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. So, if you feel like giving up, we just want to encourage you, ask Jesus to give you the strength. Use scripture to encourage yourself or your friends to keep going. And that we get to do this. We get to do this together. We get to learn how to be fearless through Jesus and with each other. So have a fantastic, fearless weekend, friends.
Woo!